Okay, we're back in Tableau, episode 26. We're going to be talking about your own custom colour palette. So, as an example of what this means, this is something we did from, I think it was kind of episode 23, maybe. And here we've coloured this chart by sum of the overall row. And if I had to click on here, I can edit the colours. I can choose a load of different palettes. So these will be, you'll have all of these in here, apart from these two at the these four at the bottom. So, for example, these ones that I've built, these two couple of palettes here, which were for a conference. Some sequential and diverging palettes. So what I want to speak about is how you can do this yourself. Not that you necessarily want a sort of ready pink to blue, but how you can implement these yourself into your own workbook, and the sort of workflow of how to do that. So let's first quickly just touch on colour palettes, and then we'll go on to how you can implement them into Tableau. So I've gone into Chrome, which is my web browser of choice, and I'm currently on the LearnUI design palette generator, one of my favourite colour palette tools. I've got a few here that are pretty good for colour. I want you, colour calculator, I've got colour picker here. There's a few good colour things in this list that you can check out if you want to take a screenshot now. Anyway, so I'm actually going to create a similar to this. So I'm going to use that colour picker on one of these colours. So let's say 0075B2. We can use that as a kind of base colour. And these allow you to create different types of colour palettes. So palette here, the single hue, which is a sequential palette, or you can create divergent palettes where you can create the two ends. You can change brightness, colour intensity, how many colours you want in your palette. Really handy, quick and easy tool to use. So what we need to do is copy these hex values. So if we make a single hue, which I'd call a sequential colour palette, maybe we'll just create a different one so it looks a bit different in the tool. Let's say FF972E 972E. Send me the cheat sheet. Okay, and let's go for something kind of grey at the end. And when you scroll down, you can see what these would look like in the context of a kind of chart. So I'm going to go somewhere around there, I think. I'm going to copy those hex values. That's gone on a clipboard. I'm going to open a new notepad and just pop that in. Actually, let's create a few more colours. Go 8. So the endpoints will stay the same, just the difference between each. So let's call this S for sequential, and I'm going to use this as the basis for the divergent palette. So what we want to do is come back to Tableau, just so I can explain how this works. So Tableau, you can't input hex files or colour codes into the tool itself. It actually uses a different file to use as a lookup that you can add custom features into, and that's called your Tableau repository. Right, if you go to File here and press Repository Location, it will automatically route you to where your Tableau repository is. So if you close that and go to your File Explorer and go to that same place, so mine's just Documents, Tableau repository, you'll see at the bottom here there is a Preferences file. Now that is a Tableau Preferences file type, and if you press Properties on that, you'll see that, where is it? hoping it would show the file type. Anyway, my Tableau is a Tableau preference file. What you want to do is you want to open this. Oops. You want to open this with your notepad, and the Windows one is fine. And now when you do this, you'll probably look pretty empty, because I've already added, as you saw, some extra colour palettes in. Now you can add all sorts of things in here, but the only things I've entered at the moment are colour palettes. So you can copy and paste this. I can put a link into the YouTube video, it'll be in the description below, of how to sort of format this properly. Basically, it's saying open the workbook, look in preferences, and within there we've got 4 different colour palettes, and they're broken down with the syntax. So this kind of opens up the colour palette, sets a name, sets the palette type, I've inputted the colours, and then sort of closed down that colour palette. And done the same with these. So I've got a regular, the 2 matte, we saw that, the 2 matte sequential, the 2 matte diverging, 2 matte qualitative. And what we can do is just use this as a basis before it then closes down. So if we get our other pad up, put that over here, we can copy these in. So if I copy this, we can then call this the training Ep26 sequential, and sequential, you want to be ordered sequential, and then all you do is just copy and paste each of the colours in, which is a bit of a faff. And I think I actually used to do this in SQL just because it was easy to alt and edit this if you have access to that. So that's 2, 3, 4, etc, etc, until they're all in. So let me just quickly do that so you don't have to watch it. Now I've added all those hex codes in for the 2, the sequential and the divergent. So you close that down, press save on that. Probably worth just opening it again. Let's make sure they're in there. Okay, episode 26, sequential, divergent, good. And then we can close this down, we can discard that. And now what you need to do is close your Tableau file down as well. I'll save changes, that's fine. And then you want to reopen your Tableau, which was Ep26. It should have repopulated the preference file. So when we go to colour, edit colours, go to the bottom, and we got some new, not the nicest, quite nice, palettes. We got our sequential, which fades from a orange to a grey, which is great for a sort of continuous data set. And we've got our diverging palette, which looks wrong to me. Suddenly got black at the end. So probably copy the hex code over wrong, so it's worth just double checking those. But as a basis and a premise and a concept, that's worked really well. So yeah, I'm going to go back into my preference file, I'm going to line those back up, make sure that all the right codes are in there and that the formatting is right for that diverging one. I'm pretty sure I didn't have black at the end. And then you can use this in your palettes, which is amazing. So that's how you do it. You go and make your colour palette, update preference file, restart your Tableau, start using palettes. So I hope that was really useful, hope you enjoyed that. See you next week for more Tableau.